All right, joining us right now, MSNBC political analyst Alexi McCammon, host of the In Sync with Alexi podcast, and back with us, Washington Post congressional investigations reporter Jackie Alemany. Alexi, let's start with you on this. Your reaction to, he covered a lot during this first rally since becoming president-elect. What do you think the dynamic of Musk and President-elect Trump is right now, where it might go based on what we've seen first out of the gate at this rally?
Well, it's clear that President-elect Trump is still just as obsessed with the media coverage of him and who's really in control as he has ever been. We've also seen brief spats between Elon and Trump in the past before, with Elon saying, I think it was in 2022, that it was time for Trump to ride off into the sunset and for the Republican Party to move on past him. So it's not unusual for folks to have these rifts with Trump and then end up being allies with him and then going back to having a rift, as we might see happening with Trump having this obsession with the coverage that Elon is really in control. But the thing is, as long as Elon keeps supporting him and pushing for his agenda, giving him money or raising money for him in other ways, Trump will want him around. And as long as Elon is being loyal to Trump and showing the fealty to Trump that he demands, there's no reason for the two to get into any sort of feud moving forward.
Jackie, when you look at Elon Musk and his efforts so far, this is somewhat of a trial balloon, right? Getting in the middle of a policy process. We've seen what the outcome was, and also showed some of the cracks within the Republican caucus during the process that happened over the weekend. What do you make of how Elon Musk might be butting in, if you will, or leaning in on the processes that are in a different branch altogether?
Yeah, Richard. Well, I think in this current moment, Trump does view Musk as a very helpful and useful extension of his political power and as an enforcer of some of his priorities. And he's been extremely encouraging of the Department of Government Efficiencies. This is Musk's outside the government agency that's going to find ways to make efficiencies and to cut the federal government spending by a very, very potentially unrealistically large amount. I think, though, where Musk could encounter some problems and maybe create some problems for the president-elect is that pushing some of these policies that are in contradiction to what Trump has promised on the campaign trail. Something like cutting entitlements, for example. Trump has promised repeatedly that he's not going to touch things like Social Security disability insurance. And that is one of the priorities that Musk has owned in on in these conversations he's been having separate of Donald Trump on Capitol Hill with his sidekick and partner in DOJ, Vivek Ramaswamy, that has excited a lot of these Republican lawmakers who are big Trump supporters, some of the biggest MAGA adherents in the Republican Party, but who also vary from Trump in terms of their fiscal ideology and ways that they would like to see the government's influence, who have been wanting to cut entitlements for years now, but have not had the political capital to do so, and see Musk as a proponent of that. But where it could come to a head is, again, undermining some of the campaign promises that Donald Trump has made.
Alexi, what do we know about this? It's called Department of Government Efficiencies. It's not going to be a federal department, but it's going to be advisory from what we know, right, Alexi? What do we know about what DOJ might be, or what the idea of what it might be is? And secondarily, it seems to have got a little bit of energy coming from the Hill itself, with a bipartisan, at least it seems right now, interest in this very same idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think Vivek and Elon know how to be slick and sell this idea that they are focusing on efficiencies. And it was at the Aspen Institute, I believe, where Vivek was doing an interview with Axios's Mike Allen, and he talked about the issue of cutting entitlements and the way that they're already sort of pushing for it at once, but also not taking accountability for it is really interesting. He said to Mike Allen something to the extent of, well, you know, Republicans in Congress would be the ones to ultimately vote to cut entitlements, not us. And those people were voted into office by the American people. So if you look at it that way, the American people are saying they want that. And that's obviously not true. Polls show something like 80% of Americans don't want to see anything touched when it comes to Social Security benefits, for example. But they're talking about going after people who they say shouldn't even be receiving these entitlements. And so they're also saying that's the first part before they get to any sort of wholesale cuts of packages or programs. But I think we've seen with the government shutdown bill how obsessed they are with numbers and the weight of this package. And so when they talk about efficiency, you have to ask, are they thinking about just numbers and the bottom line, or are they thinking about the people who will be affected by any sort of cuts?
All right, Alexi McCammon, Jackie Alemany, thank you.